Let's see if we are live, and yes, really nice. Okay, so let's go first of all to rebeloper.com and /mentoring. Welcome everybody, and in this SwiftUI tutorial I will be talking all about SwiftUI's data flow. So if you do want to know what binding is, or state, or maybe environment object, or app storage, go ahead and stay tuned, because in this half an hour, maybe 1 hour, I will be talking all about data handling in SwiftUI. And once you get to the end of this, you will learn like 95% of what you need to do with data in a SwiftUI app. Of course, we are going to use MVVM. And yeah, let me just see. Yes, we are doing well with video and audio. And make sure to... yes, Mark says hello from London. Yes, that is what I wanted for you to ask. I want you to say hello in the chat and tell me where are you from. So Mark is from London. Hello, Mark from London. Welcome again. And yeah, let me know what you do have, if you do have any questions about SwiftUI data handling. And yeah, let me just tell you what I'm going to build out today. So what we are going to talk about today. So first of all, we are going to talk about read-only properties and all of the state, binding, observable object, all of those property wrappers that you can see on the screen. I'm gonna, hello Eric, Akshat, hello from the USA. Welcome all. Let me know if you do have any questions about data handling in SwiftUI. This is what we are going to cover. And we are going to build out a project from scratch. And it will be a simple, like a password app, but it doesn't really have any functionality. But with this app, you will learn all of these. Of course, to know how to handle data. And as you see, we have this password. So I just go 1, 2, 3, and we can navigate the way. And if we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, we just go back. You see the password has been changed. We just go ahead and navigate. Let me just move this a little bit up. Okay, so if we just navigate even further, and we say don't show the password, and we just go all the way back, you see we are not showing the password. Okay, so that's our simple app that we are going to build out today, so you may understand data flow in SwiftUI. And before we jump into it, let me just remind you about rebeloper.com/mentoring, 60 minutes of one-on-one Zoom call with yours truly. And if you do have any bugs in your code, if you do want to learn SwiftUI or UIKit for the matter of fact, do sign up and apply. You know, you have to book 1 hour with me on a Zoom call. And yeah, I am eager to teach you. I do have students who just started from scratch learning SwiftUI. I do have bug fixing sessions. So yeah, go ahead and check out rebeloper.com/mentoring. Just make my hair a little bit here. It looks okay. Let me just see, I have this. Okay. Great. Okay, so yeah, let's jump right into it. Don't forget to like if you haven't already done so, and subscribe to the channel. It helps quite a lot if you do like this video, and if you do like my teaching style, go ahead and like it or share it with your other friends. So yeah, they may learn all of this great stuff. So data flow in SwiftUI. Let's get into it, and let's create a brand new Xcode project. So let's create a new project right over here. Let me just move this out of the way. And yeah, it will be a simple app. And Doka says, hello from Krasno. Oh, sorry, I will not. I'm sorry, I will not read that out loud. But it's from Russia. Welcome from Russia. Okay. And let's just call this SwiftUI Binding. Yeah, so it's binding because SwiftUI data management is all about having a binding, meaning that you want to have one single source of truth. Now, I will state this right now. You don't have to have a one singleton that has one single state of truth, one data management, and you have everything in there. That's kind of not productive, but you want to have a single source of truth for something in your app. So if that is a text field, then you want to have only one single source of truth for that. If it's a label or something else, you want to have one single source of truth for that. And you will learn how to do this well today. Okay, so let's start off by clicking next here. Akshat says, how can we support you? Do you have a Patreon or something? Well, I don't have a Patreon. I really do think that I really need to give something in return, and I don't really like the Patreon style, so I am kind of obliged to give some content on, let's say, on a weekly basis. But you can support me by going to rebeloper.com/mentoring and just apply and book a 1-hour call, and I will help you with your coding questions, or we could just chat about project management or app architecture or whatever you'd like. I'm really into SwiftUI nowadays, so maybe you too are. And yes, that's how you can support me. Thank you very much. And yeah, let's get back into it. So let's see. As you can see, let me just talk a little bit about this. So I'm having it here a code folder. So what I usually do is just create a new code folder and another one, when that's appropriate, a resources folder. So all of those are nicely tucked into the root folder on my computer. So yeah, I can manage my projects better that way. Okay, so let's create that. And yeah, let's remove the canvas. I don't care about the canvas for this tutorial. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. And as I told you, we are going to learn about data flow in SwiftUI. But first of all, we need to create a better project structure. And we are going to use MVVM in this project. So let's start mapping off our project structure for MVVM. First of all, I usually create some groups, and let's just go with the first one, and that is main. And that's where I will just drag and drop the app file. Next up is let's just go MVVM, so model, view model. So let's go with our view model here. So new group, view models. Okay, next up is the views, new group, views. And inside the views, you know, I like to have two separate groups again, the main and the sub, because let's say, and we are going to use this in this project also. Just a second. Toka says, thanks for your videos, but I have to go. It is already midnight. I'll watch it later. Go ahead, watch it later. It will be up on the YouTube channel. Okay, so whenever the view fills up the whole content that you can see on the screen, that's what I would call a main view. And everything else, let's say a custom button or something like that, is a sub view. So let's just create those two groups here, and that is sub and main. Okay, and finally we want to add in another group, and that is called models. Okay, and now we can just grab our content view and drag and drop it into the main. And that is where we are starting off. We have this kind of nice MVVM structure. And what I usually experience with Xcode is that when I drag and drop my files, it doesn't really recognize all of that stuff. So what I will just do is just go ahead and close this project and open it up again. So SwiftUI Binding. Okay, so yeah, that should fix Xcode so it makes auto completion, all of that. Okay, so now we got our content, and what do we want to do actually? Well, first of all, I want to create this kind of text field. It's actually a secure field, and for that I want to add a subview, and I will name this subview sensitive data view. So let's go under sub, right click on it, and let's create a new file. It will be a SwiftUI view, and let's just create a sensitive data view. Okay, and on that sensitive data view, let's just add a secure text field, or rather, yeah, let's just go for only for now with a text. Okay, and that will be a text. And let's just go, I will just go 1, 2, 3 here all the way down. So now we got our text. Also, while we are here, it's always a good thing to add the root view of our body to be a VStack. Okay, so that's that. Now we want to go and grab the sensitive data and add it onto our content view. Okay, so again, let's create a VStack and sensitive view, data view, and let's hit Command R. Okay, let's just wait for this a little bit. So what's going on? Sensitive data view cannot be found. Why is that? Oh, we are on Mac OS. Sorry about that. Let's just select iPhone 12, and yeah, we do want to hit Command R when we did select our iOS project and iPhone 12. And let's just wait for this to build. And it says 1, 2, 3. Great. Okay, but yeah, that's great. But first thing that I want to teach you today is this read-only properties. And as you can see now on the sensitive data view, we have this 1, 2, 3, and okay, that's nice. But what if I want to change this? Well, you can just go and add it right over here, and let's create a new property, and let's call it password. So var password, and this will be a string, and let's just have it right here, 1, 2, 3. And now I can just grab this and paste it in there. So this is a read-only property because the text is just reading the value. So if we just hit Command R again, you can see that it's just 1, 2, 3. M. Massa says hello. David Torres says hello from Wisconsin, USA. ENVIRONMENTOBJECT says hello from India. Well, we are kind of building up our audience. Welcome all, and yeah, let's see if we can hit that like button if you do like my teaching style. So yeah, let's see if we can break our yesterday's record, which was 19 likes. So this week it was all about record breaking in likes. Let's see if we can break this today. So yeah, if you don't mind, go ahead and smash that like button. It would be tremendous. Okay, let's move forward. And basically this is it. The text is only reading our data. So that's why this is a read-only property. So what if I want to make this text, and yeah, I've just got news that we already have 9 likes. That is awesome. Like 11 to go, and we are hitting our record. Thank you very much. Ron says hello from Israel. Welcome, Ron. So let's move forward and let's take a look at our next let's move forward to our text edit. So let's talk about the state. So this property wrapper. So what is actually at state? Now, if I would try to change the password, well, we are in a struct and we actually cannot change it because this is a read-only property. But of course, there's a way to do to change our password, and that is to wrap it around a state property wrapper. So let's just go, and I do already have code snippet for this. It's PS, so state private var, and let's name this password. Yeah, because I'm using it all the time, and let's just have this as an empty string for now. And as you can see, everything works. If we just hit build and run, we will not see anything on the screen because that's an empty string. But now we can change the password's value. And do remember this phrase that I'm going to tell you now. We're going to change this variable's value over time. So again, we're going to change this password over time. And this variable is going to hold its current state. That's why it's called state. No wonder. Okay, why is this private actually? Well, state variables are owned by the view that they are declared in. So you shouldn't, let's say, if you let me just remove this state. Let's hit Command B. And let's see how we can initialize actually our sensitive data view. Now it's okay, but let me just go back a little bit, sensitive data view. And now I'm just doing open brackets, parentheses, sorry. And yeah, there are two types of initializations, one with a password, but that is a state. We cannot add a value, actually a value for our state. That is going to be the binding, actually. You will see in just a second. So it is always advisable, if you just go ahead and use state, just use private. Let's hit Command B again. So yeah, you could just create a code snippet for this like I just did. Go ahead. Let me know if you do want me to show you how to create a code snippet. Go ahead. I'm looking forward for that in the chat if you are interested. And now we just have only this initialization. Really, really nice. So yeah, that's why this is private. And we are using this password. Currently, the text view is just reading the password. It cannot manipulate it. So we cannot bind the password state variable to the text. It doesn't have a binding. What does have a binding is our secure text field. So let's just add a secure text field. Yeah, and this could be a simple text field also. But I really want to show you one with the passwords. And right over here, secure text field, we want to go, let's go with maybe the simplest one. So with the title and the text. And the title will be our, let's say, password. And I think I had it as a name on the demo, but yeah, we need a password right over here. And as the text, we want to bind a variable. And as you can see, it's a binding of type string. Now, how to bind this state variable? Well, it turns out that we have to add a dollar and then password. So now we are binding the state variable to the secure text field. What does this mean? Well, it means that whenever the secure text field in its own implementation changes the value of our password, it will be triggered all the way up to our state, and it will change, of course, the value of this state, which in turn will change this password on the text, which in turn, this text view will render itself again. So this is how whenever we are typing something into the secure text field, we will see that password right over here on the text. Let me just take a sip of water. So let's build and run and see how this looks like. Okay, let's just add a padding. Well, not the padding on the sensitive data view, but on the content view. Hit Command R again. Let's go back to this sensitive data view because this is what we are talking about. And now, if I just start typing like 1, 2, 3, you will see that that data went into the secure text field, but it was binded to the private state variable, which in turn was read by the text view. So the text is displayed on the screen. So it's rendering itself again. Ron says, will you include combine in the future? Yes, I will talk about the basics, like a starter on combine tomorrow. So stay tuned tomorrow, same time, around same time. I will talk about the basics of combine. So yeah, By the way, these property wrappers are from SwiftUI, but under the hood, they are using well, some of them are using combined. Okay. So that is how you have you can use state and binding, like binding it to the secure text field. But let me just add in here, just for styling, text field. You're welcome, Ron. Stay tuned for tomorrow. So rounded border text field style. So we can see that text field, a secure text field, a little bit better. Okay, so let's talk about binding. Let's see, what if I don't want to use this text right over here, but I want to display it on the content view itself. So somewhere here. So let's just go and add a text right over here. And currently I'm just going to go with an empty string. And while we are here, let's just add a spacing of 12. Okay, so how do we actually move that data from the sensitive data view right over here? So that is where the binding will come in. And first of all, we need to understand that the state is actually the single source of truth, not the binding. We are binding the state, which is the single source of truth. So as you guessed it, we want to have the state as close to the root view as possible. So this will be our content view. And let's just create it right over here, and password, and its initial value will be an empty one. And now how do we actually pass it on? Yeah, we can just add it right over here. So password, that's just it. We are reading it for our text view. But how do we actually pass this source of truth into the sensitive data view so it can change it? Well, that's where binding comes in. And let's just go back to our sensitive data view, comment this out, and just start typing out at binding var, let's just go password, and this will be of type string. Okay, so first of all, this is not private because, yeah, it needs to be accessible. Second, we are not giving a value to the binding. And that's because, if you think about it, it's really logical, because its value will be given when we are initializing this view. So we will bind a state variable into this binding. And because I named it password, everything works okay right over here. Okay, so let's go to the content view, and now if we hit Command B, we see that we have a failure right over here, and yeah, we just simply want to add in a password, and it needs a binding of string, as you can see right over here. So binding string, and now we will bind this state with $password. Really, really nice. So now it will do the same thing. So yeah, we didn't do much on the UI part, but now the single source of truth is right over here. And it seems that we have an error, and I do know what it is. Yeah, the preview is not working because we added a binding right over here. Let me just add in here, let me just show you once, and then I will not worry about the previews. We can just fix this and add a constant value. Let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be our password. And now you can use the previews, but usually I just delete them for this tutorial's sake. Previews are really, really great for building out projects, but yeah, I have to worry also about time. So here we go with the password 1, 2, 3, and it does the same thing, but now we are using bindings. And yeah, you just created a custom binding. On the secure field, the text binding, same thing, but that comes from Apple, of course. This password comes from you. Really, really nice. Let's see what's up next. So we covered state and we covered binding. Let's take a look at the observable object, and let me just take a look at a peek right over here, what I actually want to do here. So let's just go to the content view. Yes. So next up, I want to talk about, let's just see if, let me just go to here. So what if I just want to create a sensitive data object, because now it's just a string. But what if I want to handle some sort of a data? And I'm going to create a model for that, a sensitive data. And after that, we are going to talk about the observable object. So first things first, let's go under models. Yeah, so now we are going to talk a little bit more about more complex data structures, not just strings, integers, and booleans or basic values. That is great for state and binding, but what if I have a person or a profile or a post, or in our case it will be called sensitive data? Well, we will be creating that, so let's just go a Swift file next, and it will be called just sensitive data. Sensitive data. Let's create that. Let's import SwiftUI. Sorry, not binding, SwiftUI. And it will be a struct. As usual, you most probably do know how to create these models. So let me just copy this out and paste it in there. And this sensitive data will have a variable because we do want to change it over time. And it will have only one, and that is password, and that will be of type string. And that's our model, really, really simple. Okay, next up, we want to create somewhere. So this sensitive data is actually going to come from somewhere else. So that's usually why we are having these models, because we are fetching it from the server. Of course, in this case, we are not going to fetch from the server, but do keep in mind that this might come from outside. It's not like inside the content view that it is a state variable. Okay, and we already have 17 likes. Well, thank you very much. 2 more likes to go, and we might break our record. So we did have 19 likes. Yeah, so 3 more likes, please. If it would be tremendous. So it helps really with the YouTube algorithm. If we go to 20 likes, ooh, that would be amazing. Oh my gosh. So yeah, and by the way, thank you for these 17 likes also already. So where was I? Yes, these this state and binding, those are kind of local, so they are inside the views. But what about external? So these are internal, external kind of states. Well, that's where models come in. The view model comes in with the observable object and publishers. So let me just talk a little bit about that. And Angelo Sannino says 18th. Most probably you hit that 18. And we already are at 21. Well, thank you very much. That was a surprise. Yeah, and if you haven't already, just keep on liking. Yeah, I'm out of work. Thank you very much. So we got our model here, and then we want to glue our model to our view. So the view model is basically our glue between our models and our views. So let's create our first view model ever. So that will be our content view model. So let's just go new file and content view model. So select Swift file and content view model. Okay, let's create that. And let's import SwiftUI, of course. There we go. And these view models need to be classes. So class content view model, so it can inherit from observable object. Now, as the name states, it is an observable object. We can observe it, like the state, but we are going to have a lot more here. And on these observable objects, we can actually observe published values. Now, this is a kind of a SwiftUI way of going deep into combine, but yeah, let me just type this out and you will see in just a second what this means. And we are going to observe the actual sensitive data. So let's go at published. I didn't know, did I add that at published? No, I didn't. So yes, at published. We're also going to talk about at published. Really, really nice. Okay, so at published var sensitive data, and that will be, so we need to give it a default value, so a starting value, as we did with state, so sensitive data, and the password, let's have an empty string right over there. If you hit Command B, now everything should work okay. Now we want to go back to our content view, and instead of using this state variable as the password, as the single, well, the source of truth, we want to use our view model's published value as the source of truth. Now, you on the content view model, you will fetch and update that published variable, and because we are now going to connect it to our view, that's how it will be displayed on screen. Okay, so let me just comment this out, and let's just create some sort of state for our view model. You know, we have this state for the password, but because this is an observed object, we want to go with state object. So at state object var, and I'm just going to call it view model, and this is going to be our content view model. And because this is kind of the source of truth, we are going to make it a state object and not an observed object. We will be talking about an observed object in just a second, but because this is where we are initializing, we are creating it. That's why it's a state object, and it is owned by the content view, by the way. And you should add it as private also. Okay, so that's that. Now we have some errors, but we can just safely go and change this text and the sensitive data view. So we just go view model. So let me just see. Yes, view model dot, and now we have this sensitive data dot password. And that will be okay. You will have all of that grayed out. And I think we just going to copy this out. And of course, this needs to be binded. So we are leaving the $sign right over there. And if we just hit Command R, basically nothing has changed on the UI, but now we have an MVVM project. Congratulations. So 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Now we have a view model for this. Okay. That's great, but what if I want to, let me just go to our text view. So we have our state object. You already know it's kind of state, but for external and models that we create, view models, sorry. And we have our state object like that. But what is this observed object? As we found out with binding that we can bind the state to another view, we can also pass on the state object, that observable object, as observed object. Again, state object is the single source of truth, and it is right over here. Let's say this on the root view. And then let's just pass it on into the sensitive data. Well, maybe not. Let's just navigate away, because yeah, we just have this password right over here. Let's see if we can navigate away and then change the password right over there, and let's see if it changes that actual text right over here under the view model. So for that, we want to pass on our view model to the next view. So first of all, let's create our detail view. It will be a new view, and it will fill up the whole screen. So let's create a new file under the main and SwiftUI view, and I will call this detail view. Okay, let's create that. We got our detail view, and in order to navigate, we just go into the content view and make our content view navigatable. So let's just add in our navigation view. There we go. Open and close parentheses. Let's just copy out all of the content and paste it right over there. And let me just remove this slide. And I'm pretty sure that we do want to add some navigation bar titles so we can see where we are at. So navigation bar title, and let's just go content view. Okay, in the detail view, well, actually, we want to first of all have a VStack, and that would have a padding and navigation. Come on, navigation bar title and detail view. Okay, let's see how this looks like. Well, yeah, we do need to navigate. So before we do that, let me just go under sensitive data view and, well, basically just add in here a navigation link. Yes, so navigation link, there we go. And I'm going to use the one with the destination and label. That would be appropriate in our case. And the destination will be our detail view. That's right. And our label, let's just go text navigate. Okay, that's great. Yeah, let's just hit Command R and see how this looks like. So we got, and also I'm going to add in here a spacer. So it pushes everything all the way up, and also in the detail view, why not? Let's just add a spacer so I don't forget it. Let's build and run again. And now you will see that we have this navigate button. And if you just go back, there we go. So what we actually want to do here is just go ahead and have a sensitive data view. So let me just copy this out and paste it right over here under the detail view. Okay, but now the view model is missing. And if you were paying attention to what I did with the state and the binding, you will see it's kind of the same with our state object and observed object. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and create a view model that is an observed object. So under the detail view, at observed object var view model, and this will be of type content view model. Okay, and now everything fits into its place. We have access to our sensitive data and password, but we will have some errors. Let's hit Command B, and yeah, you can see that we already have this error on the preview. I will just remove that and hit Command B again, but we will still have an error. Let's go back to our content view, and it says, let me just read this out loud, missing argument for parameter view model. Let's insert one. So let's fix this, and view model, let's just grab our source of truth for our view model. Okay, let's hit Command R. And yeah, now everything works. And let's just type in here 1, 2, 3. So all of this is okay. So we didn't break anything. Let's navigate away. And by magic, something's here, but we don't really know if this is 1, 2, 3, because yeah, it's a secure text field. Let's just delete this and let's see if the actual binding of our object works. So let's type in 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go back to the content view and magic, presto. Now we have 1, 2, 3, and it's kind of obvious because the password is stored on the sensitive data inside the view model. But the important part here is that we binded our state object to the detail view, and this binding is with the observed object. Of course, now you understand why the content view model needs to be an observable object. Okay, really nice, interesting stuff. Let's move forward. So we talked about the observed object. So what if, yeah, let's talk about the environment. So what if I want to add in some more views? So first of all, let's just create, let's just call this deep view. So let's create a new file here, SwiftUI view, and I will just call this deep view. Okay, and on this deep view, for now, I just want to have a button that will navigate back, because as you can see right over here, we have this kind of automatically created back button by the navigation bar. But what if I do want to remove the navigation bar? How do we actually go back, like pop our view? And yeah, let's just set up our deep view right over here so we don't have a navigation bar. So first of all, of course, the good old VStack. And on that VStack, because we do know that we will be on the navigation stack, we just go navigation. And I'm not going to hide the navigation bar altogether. I'm just going to hide the back button. So let's set this to true, and let's set the navigation bar title to be our deep view. Okay, so yeah, that will work. Let's just push this from the detail view, and let's just add in here a navigation link. Navigation link. And let's just choose the one with the destination and label. Destination will be our deep view. That's great. Our label, again, navigate, or whatever you choose. Navigate. Okay. So yeah, if you do have any questions, go ahead, and I'm eager to answer them. Do type them into the chat. So let's test this out. So we can see that once we get to the deep view, so let's navigate away, we don't have a back button and we cannot navigate back. So let's create one. And yeah, I'm getting to the environment in just a second, but we need to set all of this up. So button, let's just create our back button. Going to use the action and label initializer. Here, let's just add in here a text, and let's just call this back. Okay. And what do we actually want to do whenever we tap on the back button? And in order to navigate back, it turns out that these environments, so at environment, this property wrapper, actually, if we just add in at presentation mode, you can access this on all of the views. So as you can see, this is kind of on the deep stack. So it's the first view on the stack. You can access this throughout your app, and whenever you access it, you can dismiss any view that you have over here. You can dismiss like this navigation stack. So if you just pushed it on, also you can dismiss sheets. So if you have presented a sheet, you can also dismiss that. So this you can also get access to the color scheme, and yeah, these are preset values that you can change or access. They are set by the project, so SwiftUI basically. And also we can create environments, but it is not that often. I would prefer APPSTORAGE for that. As a mode. But yeah, if you do want to let you know how we can create actual environments besides the ones that SwiftUI provides us, go ahead and check out rebeloper.com/mentoring, where I can meet with you on the 16 minutes one-on-one Zoom call, and yeah, I can teach you all of this. And also, if you have bugs in your code, or if you do want to learn SwiftUI or UIKit, go ahead and check it out, rebeloper.com/mentoring. So coming back on the deep view, we want to go, and I already have a code snippets for this, and that is presentation mode. So I just use the code snippet, and then we can just read this out. So at environment, and then /dot presentation mode. Now this is important that this property is set as presentation mode. Also, it is private. You know, we shouldn't be able to change it or just give it some values. And the name, this variable, I just call it presentation mode. You can just call it whatever you want. I like to call it presentation mode because, yeah, actually that is what it is. So presentation mode dot wrapped value, we want to grab its wrapped value and just go dot dismiss. And that's it. So let the magic begin. So let's just navigate. Now we can just tap on content view. Okay, that's fine. We are navigating back. Let's go here, and whenever we tap on the back button, we are navigating back. Really, really nice. And this is kind of the most important. Yeah, you could just use navigate environment in other parts also of your code, like grabbing the color scheme or the actual dark or light mode preference, but yeah, I believe it's called, what's it called? Appearance. So you want to grab its appearance also, but this is the most commonly used for environments. Okay, we covered environment, and let me just add in here a spacer. So okay, so we covered the environment. What's up next? Well, next up is environment object, because these environments are kind of preset. But what if you do want to set your own environment objects? Yes, and that's where environment objects do come in. So you should always, you can, by the way, inject your environment object at a later point in your view hierarchy, but you definitely should go and inject them into your root view. So first of all, let's create some object, an observable object basically, that we can inject as environment object, and we can use them throughout the app. As I noted, again, this environment object can be accessed from whatever view of your code. You don't have to go through state object and then observed object, and if you just want to pass it along, again, observed object. Now we are going to create an environment object for that. So let's create a new model, and I will just call this settings, new file, and the Swift file. Next. Hello Peter, hello from Germany, welcome from Germany. So settings, do let me know if you have any questions about the data flow in SwiftUI. I'm eager to answer all of your questions right over here, all about SwiftUI data flow. It's so important to learn these lessons. So yeah, we left off by creating settings model. So let's just import SwiftUI, and this should be a class because we are going to create an observable object. So settings and observable object. And right over here, I'm just going to create a published value. It is kind of the same what we did last time. So published var, and is password shown. So is password shown equals, let's set this to false by default. So we are not going to show that password. If you remember, we are showing the password automatically right over there. So I want to set a toggle right over here. So on this part of the app, let's say this would be our settings, and we want to have a toggle right over here. And whenever we toggle that and is password shown is set to false or true, we want to act accordingly right over here. So as you can see, it's all the way in another view. But yeah, that's the power of environment object. We can access this throughout the app. Okay, so next thing, we want to inject our settings observable object as an environment object. And usually you should do this on the root. So you should inject it onto the content view. But injecting it means that we are going to do that whenever we are creating the actual content view where we are initializing it. And that's why we want to create it right over here under the main. So first of all, let's create a state object. This state object will be owned by the SwiftUI Binding app. So just so you know, this is the single source of truth of the settings. As you can see, we have multiple single sources of truth, but they all are representable, and they all kind of do one thing and one thing only. They don't go and mess around each other's businesses. Okay, so at state object var settings, and this will be settings. Okay, and let's initialize it, of course. And now what we want to do is just inject it into the content view, and let's just go environment object and settings. Okay, so this means that whenever I do want to access this environment object, I can do so from any view that is a child of our content view. So this is really powerful. So yeah, first of all, let's do that under the content view. So let's see how that is actually done. And this is pretty straightforward. Just go at environment object, and let's just name this settings. So var settings and settings. Again, because this is kind of an observed object, but it's an environmentally available observed object, we are not initializing it. We already did on the single source of truth on the actual app file. Okay, so now we can grab these settings and use it wherever we like. And we are going to hide or show our text right over here. So if settings, and now we can access is password shown, Let me just rename this. So shown, and also under settings, shown. Okay, so if is password shown, then we should just show our text. Otherwise, we shouldn't. And let's hit Command R so we can see that everything builds. And indeed, we are not showing the password. So yeah, how would we have that toggle there? So let's go all the way to the deep view. And yeah, let me just copy this out, because again, this is how we are going to access it. So yeah, let's just go ahead and paste it in there. So now we have access to the environment object. So let me just create a new toggle. So let's just add it right over here. But before we do that, let me just add in here a spacing of 12. Okay, so let's create a toggle. Toggle, there we go. And let's just use the one that is on, and the label. Now with the binding, it will be from our settings. So settings dot is password shown. Okay, and the label, let's just go show password. I think that's okay. So show password. Okay, so yeah, everything, all the errors went away, and let's see how this looks like. Well, yes, I was right. We do have to add in a padding, so we don't have that all the way to the sides of our screen. Okay, so currently this is set to false, so we are not showing the password. And yeah, by the way, let's just add in here 1, 2, 3. We're not showing anything. Let's navigate and navigate again. And now let's just tick on show password. And let's go back and go back again, and voila. Now we are showing the password. Also, if we just navigate again, navigate and untick, so uncheck show password, just navigate back. Oh, sorry, not the navigate, but the content view. And there we go. Now, as you can see, we made some changes on the environment object, and it's automatically updated on the other views because we have set it up. And how are we setting this up? Well, because this is password shown is a published variable on an observable object. This is, of course, really important that the views update themselves accordingly. Really, really nice. Okay, let's see what else do we got. Well, let's just let me just do this again. So navigate. Let's show our password back and back again. So we have 1, 2, 3. That's our password. Okay, but if we just build and run again, we'll see that, well, the password and also our navigation, we like what we wanted to do. So it's set back also again to false. So yeah, let's just navigate over there. As you can see, this is on off. And how could we just set this to on all the time? So if I just set this to on, it should remain. Well, that cannot be done on an observable object because, as you can see, the default value is set to false. So yeah, that's what it will be on the launch of this app. But AppStorage is coming to the rescue. AppStorage is basically a property wrapper for NS user, so user defaults basically in iOS. So it's a wrapper for user defaults, which means that we can store these and persist them even if we close our app. So yeah, let's create an app storage for this. Let's go to the deep view And yeah, let's just go ahead and not just show a password, show and save our password. So if we toggle this, we will show and save our password. And yeah, basically that's what we want. We want to save, but I'm not going to uncheck this show part here. So what we want to do is just go at app storage. So let's just create one, and let's just go and save password. So do we want to save password, true or false? And then we are going to go var save password, and the default will be false. Okay, so it's kind of the same what we did here under the settings. So we gave it a default value, but what this means is that if this save password does not exist at all on the system, you know, as a user default, then it will set this to false, and only then. If the save password user defaults already exist, this will be ignored. Think of it as this is our default value if the save password doesn't exist. Otherwise, we will grab that from our user defaults. Okay, so we got our save password, and now let's just change this from the settings right over here. So at save password. Really, really nice. So as you can see, it's binding really great. So it's working. And what we want to do is now just use this. So again, I'm going to copy this out and go back to the content view. And instead of using the settings, let's just paste this right over here. I'm just going to use the save if save password, then we are going to show it. Okay. Also, we are also going to save it under the hood, but I know the naming convention isn't quite right here, but you get the idea. So now we will persist also the password. So let's hit Command R now. And yeah, currently let's just navigate, and as you can see, nothing is here. So let's go all the way back, go 1, 2, 3, and close it again, and yeah, we will see nothing. So let's just navigate all the way back and show and save password. Let's go back all the way back, and now, oh, and before I continue, we already have 24 likes. I just realized 24 likes. Well, that's amazing. We did break our record yesterday for 19 likes, and now we have 24. Thank you very much. It really appreciate it. I don't know even what to say, because it helps really much with the YouTube algorithm. So yeah, what you could do as an extra is just subscribe. That's just it, or hit the notification bell so you get notified of the next video as they do come out. And the next video will be really awesome, because as you know, this is data flow in SwiftUI, and it's kind of a really cool version of Combined that you are using in SwiftUI. But tomorrow we are going to tackle the basics of Combined. So go ahead and hit that notification bell so you get notified on that. So we left off by demonstrating that if now I will just add in 1, 2, 3, that will be saved automatically into our user defaults, and we will see this once we close the app. So let's close it and open it up again. And it looks like it didn't work. So let me just think about this, why it didn't work. Let's just navigate all the way up here. So it says save password. Oh, it's set to false. So yeah, it didn't save the password, but it did save this condition. Yes, I just, if you do want to save the password, you want to have another one. And let's see, yeah, and we do need to add another button to save the password. Actually, I won't go into that. But what we actually did save is that show and save password. So yeah, let me just, I know I did mess up right over here, but this means that show password. So yes. Yeah, and let's rename this as, well, yeah, it's not save password, show password. A little bit of debugging and changing my mind here, but you get the idea. So at show password, and now show password, content view, show password, and show password. Yeah, I figured that this if statement doesn't look really nice. So let's do that again. So let's close this. And now again, because we are accessing another variable, so let's just go navigate, show password. Let's go back. And now let's save 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's close this. And then now, again, we will be able to, let's see, navigate. It says force, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yes. The reason why it didn't actually work is because I just closed it. So yeah, as you can see now it's working. So 1, 2, 3 again. Let's navigate, and as you can see it's set to false. And if I just build and run again, sorry, it's set to true. And also now we can see that it's set to true. Let's go back. And now we won't see our text. So we are not showing our password. And if we build and run again, we won't see it again. So 1, 2, 3, there we go. And let's just double check on the toggle there. Really nice. Yeah, it was just quitting Xcode, like quitting the app within Xcode, and we didn't build and run again. Yeah, so that's app storage. Basically, it's not about what I had trouble with. This is app storage. You can persist data throughout your app, and you can access it whenever you want in all of your views. Okay, that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed data flow. So now you know everything that you actually want to use in a SwiftUI app regarding data flow, and you hopefully now you understand how all of this works. And tomorrow I will be talking a little bit more advanced stuff. I will be talking about combine and how you can use that in a SwiftUI app. Now, if you do like my teaching style, go ahead and check out rebeloper.com/mentoring, where on a one-on-one 60 minutes Zoom call, I can teach you all of these SwiftUI stuff and even some advanced stuff, or I can bug fix your code, or maybe we can just chat about app architecture or best practices. Go ahead and check out rebeloper.com/mentoring and book your call, 1 hour call with me personally on a Zoom meeting. Okay, that's it for our live session today, and I will see you tomorrow.